All right, give me a second, guys. I'm just setting up some things real quick. I'm trying to get the videos going on so everybody can see it. Give me 1 second. I know just hang out with me for a couple of seconds. And let's see. And Ashworld YouTube Studio. And really? And of course, this is not working.
Well, it's live up on YouTube.
Oh no, it's live, but my internet's really slow here. I just got to the YouTube studio, so give me a second.
Yep.
Switch account. I mean, I'm not in the right account. That's why. There we go. Where is? Hi guys, how you doing? Just give me one more second. I do apologize. I'm just trying to get we're streaming live from Washington D.C. because I had to kind of do some stuff here. So give me 1 second here. We're gonna play the music in the background because we're a little ghetto tonight. So.
Well, as it is right now, there's only, I don't see anybody up on.
That's because nothing is out yet. So give me a second.
There's only.
Copy. Oh, I just changed the sound on this, and send now. Beautiful. And post now, and that's all out. Beautiful. That one's going. This one's going. Let me get on YouTube on this so I can see what's going on, if anything. And one watching. That's probably me. So I can see what's going on, if anything. Beautiful. All right. Well, we're on with our 3 people. And let's see. Let me just get back and I'll play. Right here we go. Where's the music? No music.
No music.
No music.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can. Let's see. No, that's not it. No, that's not it either. Okay. Well, I'll just use the small icons then for now. Yeah, it won't let me move that. Okay, no big deal. All right.
Let's see what I got here. Video.
The rocket equation.
Oh man, I got ads on my own channel.
Uh-huh.
No astronaut.
You can't. Hey. And you can't hear the music. There you go. Anyway, so much for the music. We're just gonna start. So I apologize, everybody. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Dan and Scott here, and Tegan's coming in soon.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll be here soon. And what we're going to be doing tonight, and again, I want to say I got 2 people watching, but I don't know. I think that's one of them is me. The other one's probably Scott.
Yep.
But we got 4 watching. So thank you for coming down today. Today and for every Friday from going forward, I'm going to open it up this way because I think a lot of people out there are getting a little turned off by some of our discussions because they may be a little bit too advanced. The basic reason for the Friday night show is a beginner's Q&A. Now, we may get sidetracked by questions and stuff like that because we do have a lot of advanced people that are come on the show and ask questions. But the real basis for Friday night show is a beginner's question and answer. So if you have issues with your rig, or if you have issues with your lights or darks, or just what camera do I want to use, or what telescope do I want to use, that's what Friday nights are really here for. And don't be afraid to be the ones asking questions, or shoot us an email. And if you want my email, it's info@astroworldweb.com. You can send me an email there, or dan@astroworldweb.com, and Scott will have scott@astroworldweb.com. So whoever you want to get in contact with, we'll have those email addresses. And Scott, I actually got your email almost set up, by the way. So don't send anything to Scott yet. It'll be active probably by the end of the weekend. So I don't even know if you knew that. I just said that right now. So
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So that being said, we're really kind of want to gear this towards the astrophotography people that are new in the hobby. But that doesn't stop us, because if we have lack of conversation on a beginner's level, we may go off on other tangents as far as, the questions of people that are actually watching. So that being said, tonight we have four people watching. We're actually here in Washington. Well, I'm actually here in Washington D.C. On my laptop. You can tell there's no picture behind me or anything. So I'm not at home. So I'm gonna have to apologize in advance regarding any sort of lag issue or any sort of sound issue that we may have. So let me apologize in advance. But that being said, well, we got 5 people watching. There we go. How you doing, everybody? Yep. And Bill Powell. How you doing, Bill? What's going on, Bill? Bill said hi.
Yes.
And I got to start up Restream chat because I didn't start up the chat for that.
So it looks like the chat for the YouTube chat is linked to the Restream, because the chat's showing up in Restream. That's cool.
Yeah, well, yeah. So normally, what doesn't happen is YouTube is sent out by itself, not through Restream. So you got to kind of watch both. In this situation, when I'm hosting it through Restream, it's all going to pop up now tonight.
That's nice.
It'll all pop up.
That's cool.
Anything that we put through, like one thing that I got to say is that Astroworld now has a TikTok at Astroworld TV on TikTok. So I was told by my social media guru that I needed a TikTok. So more to come on that.
Yep.
Also, some news on the unofficial, unsanctioned first annual edition of the Astroworld Star Party. It's going to happen. It looks like, again, we're targeting the first weekend in September, which turns out to be Labor Day weekend. And I personally am booked with a friend of mine on both weekends, the one before and the Labor Day weekend, at the Millstream Inn. So check it out. Limited rooms are there. So it's not a big hotel. So if you want, it's about a 15-minute drive from the field. So it's not that far, and it's in a nice little town called Coudersport. And right down the block, you have a Sheetz. If you don't know what a Sheetz is, check it out. They're awesome. And there's a nice little pizza place with calzones, like the size of, like, I don't know, Fred Gwynne's head in, like, the Munsters. So I mean, these things are huge. I mean, like, you can have them for dinner for like a month. These things are amazing. And there's a couple of bars and a couple of stuff down there in case the weather isn't good. But if the weather isn't good, we're going golfing. So I'm bringing my golf clubs. So I'll bring you golf clubs if you have them. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Glad to see you, bud. But yeah, so I guess one of the biggest questions that I come across every single day that I work in the store or when we do this, what kind of camera do I use? What kind of telescope should I get?
Yep.
And I know this is very basic, but I mean, it's a really important subject, and it's maybe even a little bit more, I guess, daunting than as previously thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I spoke for the first, like, I don't know, 7 minutes or so. Scott,
Mm-hmm.
when you think of, I mean, I'm sure that you didn't think of, listen, I'm just going to go big or go home and get a C14 and just because I want one. I'm sure that you came up with some sort of thought process in actually choosing that scope and choosing the camera that you have. I guess the question is, what did you do to come down with that thought process? And what kind of questions did you ask yourself before you dove in and made that purchase?
Yeah, well, of course, money is also, that's a big determining factor, figuring out a budget, as to, what you what you want to spend on a scope. You have to be realistic, and realize that, you're not going to get, the kind of imaging that you see on the web, from, a $200 scope that you buy at the World of Science. All right. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to spend some money. You don't have to spend a stupid amount of money, but you're going to have to spend some money. So you have to kind of figure out where your budget is, first of all. And then, you like Dan said, you have to look at, do I want to go, do I want to deal with the issues of a color, a DSLR camera, and the pluses and minuses, in using DSLR cameras, which, DSLR imaging can be, it can be wonderful, but there are some downsides to it. One of the biggest ones is that you're going to have to deal with thermal noise, and that if you don't know what thermal noise is, it's basically the noise that the sensor puts out. The longer you leave that sensor hot, capturing data, the more you're going to have an issue with signal to noise ratio. So you're going to have more and more noise. The way that you can mitigate that is by simply using one of these. And going with a cooled camera. A camera like that will allow you to cool the sensor down, 15, 20, maybe as much as 25 degrees below ambient. But the downside to this is that you can't take family photos with it.
Well, that's not necessarily true. You just won't like the way they come out. It's you'll kind of get like the picture of They Live. You might get something like that if you to put the glasses on. But yeah, I mean, there's the good thing, Scott, is that you may be lagging on the Restream Studio, but live on YouTube you're not lagging.
Oh, that's
at all.
good.
So I'm watching both actually.
Oh, that's good.
So as long as I could hear you, we're good. I don't care. I don't care what you look like. I don't need to see right now. But the whole, you're exactly right. I mean, but let's. Did you kind of? I mean, when you were choosing that camera that you were putting up, I don't know what you were putting up.
2600. Yeah, this is the one-shot color, and I got the mono as well.
So when you chose, forget about color and mono for right now. But when you were choosing your camera, you already had the scope.
Yep.
So what was the process that brought you to the 2600?
Well, I got a lot of it. I got a lot of advice. I went to people that were, much more experienced in it than I was, and asked them, should I be what size sensor should I be looking at? I seriously considered the full frame for the for the 14. I settled on the not settled as in less than, but I made the decision to go with the APS-C because it provided a nice large sensor that I didn't have to worry about a lot of issues with vignetting and other issues. Also having to get really big filters. I mean, when you start getting into the over 50 millimeter in narrowband filters, especially really good narrowband filters, it's a college education to buy those filters. They can get really expensive. And good glass. So there were different things. One of the things that I learned after I made the purchase was the issue with over and under sampling. And as it relates to pixel size and so on and so forth, for a particular scope. And there are tools, astronomytools.com. I think it's .com. Is it .com or .net? I can't remember.
Astronomy tools. No, astronomy.tools.
Astronomy.tools. There you go. That's a fantastic website. You can go in and you can put your scope in there, and then you're looking at different cameras. You can put different cameras in there, and it will give you a graph, and it'll show you this camera will do this camera will do that. So it takes the guesswork out of it for you. I didn't have that going in, or I didn't know about it. It's probably a better way of putting it. With that being said, I relied on the advice of people. Now, fortunately, I was very fortunate, and I got some good advice. The 2600 is just a phenomenally good camera. There's a little bit of oversampling, with the 2600 as it relates to that C14. However, you can fix that in software. You can bin 2x2. That fixes it just like that. But for the most part, the images that I've captured with the one-shot color, and now the one that I'm messing around with the mono, the images are just absolutely, they're breathtaking. So it was, I was very fortunate that I got some good advice going in. That isn't always the case though, because sometimes you're not going to get the best advice. I found that in this hobby, if you ask 10 people for their opinion, you'll get 15 answers. So you really need to search out, a good source of information. That's why I fell fully for what we're doing here with Astroworld, because I think that this forum is a phenomenal forum for people that don't know. They want to do this, but they have no clue. So here's a great consortium of astrophotographers that get together and they talk about gear. Yeah. They help others. They help people to do that. And I'm hoping when Tegan gets on here, that's his whole heart. He loves to do that. He loves helping people, to not only to build the right rigs, but to help them to realize their imaging dreams, as to capturing that distant galaxy or that very faint nebula, and how to do it the right way. And that's his whole heart. And the consortium of people that we're building here, I see it as a win, and hopefully we're going to help a lot of people in that process. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think and if you haven't been to the YouTube site that we have up, and I'm sorry if I seem very laid back tonight. I'm actually in a bed right now.
Laid back.
So,
quite literally.
I'm taking advantage of the situation here in DC. I'm actually visiting my mother-in-law in DC. We're bringing her back to New York tomorrow, so we will be on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. For our first Astroworld weekend update. So that definitely come and check out what we're talking about. We have Simon Lewis, who is another person that we have in our group of people. So we're growing. We're up to I think 7 now astrophotographers, and it's very, very cool. Actually, we got a question here from Bobby. What are you pairing your 2600 Pro with? What is your favorite combination? I have the 2600 Pro and no scope. I'm new to this. I'm choosing a scope. Hopefully in a week. I know I need more info.
Yeah, interesting. He bought the camera first. That's that you don't normally see that. That's usually people buy the scope first.
Yeah, that's not a usual progression. I don't want to say normal, but it's not a usual progression. When the first, the 2600 MC is a ridiculous camera. It's awesome. It is. I mean, the chip size is humongous. I mean, that's blowing it out of proportion, but you really want to make sure, number one, and Scott, feel free to chime in, that camera matches up to what you're getting. I see that you're already eyeing the Esprit 100, which I have the 80 personally, and it's awesome. And I just picked up I picked up and sold the 120 Esprit, but I got in change. I got the Explore Scientific FCD 100 127. But you really want to make sure you get the scope for the actual objects that you want to image, because there is a big difference in what you're gonna get with the 100 ED as opposed to a 2700 millimeter C14 like Scott has. It's going to be a big difference in resolution. It's going to be a big difference in the objects that you're going to get. Just because in 100 you're shooting, and I think it's 840 if I remember off the top of my head. No, that's the 120. I think it's like 540 or 560 millimeters for the 100. I'm interested in nebulas, need wide field versus an Edge 8 with galaxies. Yeah,
Rasa.
Well, yeah, you could do the Rasa 550. All right, 550. Okay, so I was off by 10 millimeters, but I don't know if I could share my screen on. Can I share screen?
You should be able to.
I don't know how on this. Add source.
I
just found out how to do the music.
Yeah, right there. I've got right under mine. Mine just gives me the option to share screen, but it might be different for the host.
Oh, share screen. There we go. Share screen. And all right. So, Bobby, take a look at this. This is what we were talking about before. And I'm going to share my screen real quick. So I need to get a little Twilight Zone-ish. And we're going to go to astronomy.
Oh, yeah. Astronomy tools.
Tools.
This is awesome.
Okay. And you're just going to hit enter. And there's astronomy.tools.
Yep.
Okay. And this is an awesome site.
It sure is.
Well, and there are other ones out there that will help you, such as telescopius.com. There's another one called Blackwater Skies, used a lot in Europe, which is really good. But what this can do for you is when you go into calculators, first thing you want to do is the CCD suitability. That's the first thing you want to do.
Yep.
Actually, that may not even be the first thing you want to do, to be honest with you. The field of view probably will be the more practical way to go. And you want to switch to imaging mode. And you already said you have the 2600. So you're going to change the camera to the 2600. You're going to go all the way down to the bottom.
Yep.
And because it's a ZWR camera. So you're going to look for, and it's actually one of the last ones. I think there it is, 2600 mm and MC. They're both the same chip size and specs. So you don't have to worry about that. But now at this point, you can put whatever telescope that you want to see what it'll image. So let's take, just for fun, let's take your Skywatcher Esprit 100 that you were looking at. So we'll go down to the Skywatcher, EvoStar, and it's in alphabetical order. So EvoStar Esprit 100. There it is. Okay. So we'll do that. Okay. Now you could choose an object. So it's mostly the Messier, but you could do Solar System and NGC if you want to. But Messier is pretty much a good standard to do. So the first thing I always check, because it's one of the biggest, is the Andromeda Galaxy.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if you're looking for big galaxies, this is what one. Now, there's nothing to stop you from doing stuff as mosaics, but for a beginner, if you want to do one shot, Andromeda Galaxy is probably going to be the biggest thing you're ever going to shoot because it's one of the closest things, it's one of the largest. And you just do add to view.
Yep.
And it'll show you eventually, hopefully, if it pops up.
It should.
There it is.
Yep.
Take a little second.
Yep.
So it shows you this is the chip that you have. This is the 2600.
Yep.
And with the 100 without a focal reducer. Now the Esprit comes with a non-reducing flattener.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to have a reducer unless you change out that flattener, which is paired to the 100. So I wouldn't suggest you changing that.
Yep.
So
you can rotate that field of view too, up in there.
You can rotate it and you can change it.
Yep.
There is stuff that you could do. But to give you an example, now let's say if you wanted to compare that to a Rasa.
Yeah, just look at like the Rasa 8, get the small one.
So now you choose a different telescope.
Yep.
Go up to Celestron. If I could find it, if I knew my alphabet, I'd be able to find it.
Yeah, the way they organize the
Celestrons are kind of weird.
It's a little weird. Yeah.
Edge, Astro. Who's gonna put a $2,000 scope on an Astromaster? A $2,000 camera.
Yeah.
8 SE. There's a Rasa, 8-inch Rasa.
Yep.
Okay. And then we're gonna add that to the view. So now, after it loads up a little bit, okay, so there you go. So the yellow is now the Rasa.
Yep, second view.
Bigger field of view. You're at f2 now, all that kind of stuff. Same camera.
Yep.
So you're able to judge different scopes with that same camera that you currently have.
Yep.
Once you narrow it down to that, that's where you got to kind of see if you're over or under sampling, which is going to make a big deal when you're doing post-processing.
Yeah. And you can do that with the CCD inspector.
And that's part 2. Yep. Well, the CCD suitability.
Suitability, yeah.
Yeah, CCD inspector is that's tilt.
That different one.
Curvature and
all
that
one.
stuff.
Yeah.
But the CCD suitability is almost the same thing, but it'll tell you how your sampling rate is. So again, let's go to the Esprit 100.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to see what the Rasa 8 and the Rasa 11 is in both of these.
Well, let's take a look at what Bobby wants to see. So
yeah, yep.
And the ZWO 2600. Boom, you're right in the green, which means it's going to be a perfect fit.
Yep.
But just be totally honest with what you're seeing. That's the only thing I ask for when you're doing this. If you're seeing, I mean, that's usually pretty good for me in New York. In a darker sky, you may be less. You may be a better seeing.
Yep.
In this area. Okay? This leads to slight undersampling, which is not necessarily a horrible problem. You could adjust for that with dithering and drizzling when you get into your post-processing, but you're going to get slightly blocky stars with it, which can be changed with PixInsight or other programs that are out there. Now, if you have really poor seeing, and I can't think of any other poorer seeing than Long Island, which is where I live,
Tokyo,
you're still in the green. So the worse the seeing, the better. And the reason for that is your shorter focal length and your bigger pixels. And we got some questions.
Yeah, he's commenting on that. He's talking about the 8 and being fast and some of the filters that he's using. There are if you're using a one-shot color, you're not gonna use narrowband filters. Well, no, that's not true. You can use narrowband filters with the one-shot color, but you can also use something like the L Extreme or the L Pro. I have the quad band filter for my Hyperstar, and that's what I'll be using with this the one-shot color. But I was concerned about the suitability of that filter with the Rasa, or with the Rasa type, which for me it's the Hyperstar, and because it's at F19. I mean, it's stupid fast. It's stupid fast, and the people at OPT, they tout that those filters, especially the quad and the L, I think it's the L. Is it the L Extreme or the L Pro? Might be the L Extreme.
Well, the L Pro is more of a light pollution filter.
So the L Extreme.
The L Extreme's your narrow band.
Narrow band, yeah. So it was the
L Enhance is a narrow band as well.
Yeah, I think it's the L Extreme and the quad, which is the Triad.
The Triad, yeah.
Yeah, and they said that it'll work just fine with the Rasa. That even at those fast speeds, it's not a problem.
Yeah, you really got to be careful when you're at that fast of an f-stop. Your filters could give you a really adverse optical issue if they're not treated to run for fast scopes. So just most people don't shoot that fast unless you have a Hyperstar or a Rasa. Now, if you have something like that, please just make sure before you spend $1,000 on filters, just make sure that they are suited for fast telescopes under F. I think it's F4 is where it starts kind of getting crazy, or F3, where it starts getting nutty. So just be careful when you're buying filters like that, because the last thing you need to do is spend $1,000 or $1,500 on filter, or even worse, per filter, and find out that they won't work for your scope. Bobby, I thought the name looked familiar. It's I only work over at Camera Concepts one day a week, and sometimes I see so many people so many times I just forget names, but I recognize the name, I believe. But I don't want to say. I think I know where you are. I believe I remember where you're from. Listen, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on email at info@astroworldweb.com, or Dan or Scott at astroworldweb.com.
Yeah. And to Dan's point too, I mean, if you're looking for something that is not going to be as much of a headache, and not that the Schmitts are necessarily a headache. The HD Celestrons are less of a headache than their predecessors. They're a little easier to manage, but if you're looking for something that's just out of the box, ready to go, for the most part, look at a refractor. Dan will talk about that for an hour.
You have no idea. I try, and listen. Maybe it's a bad thing, working for a telescope store, to try and push everybody to refractors, but I really do, and I think that the learning curve for somebody that's getting into the hobby first is going to create less of a headache with a refractor, even though it is more expensive. I mean, I'll tell you that flat off the bat. A refractor is more expensive than your same size Schmidt.
A lot more.
I mean, a 6-inch Schmidt and a 6-inch refractor is like, forget about it.
No, it's night and day.
You're talking $699 for a 6-inch refractor, and about $24,000.
Yeah.
For a 6-inch.
Chevy versus Ferrari.
Well, you're talking about, like, for a 6-inch refractor, you're talking about at least 5, without a doubt.
Yeah.
That's
a huge scope. That's a scope that's over 4 feet long.
And you're going to need a flatbed. Yeah, you're going to need a flatbed, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest with you. I mean, I try and tell everybody to use it. Number one, it's made out of glass.
Yep.
And the color, as long as you're getting a triplet or better, the color aberration is almost down to a complete minimum. It's not totally zero yet, but it's almost there. And depending on the glass you get, even with triplets, some glass is not made. All glass is not created equal. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. And also the way the manufacturing, the sandwiching of the elements together.
Absolutely. If you got aerospace, or if they're glued.
Yeah. As a professional photographer, I can tell you that that the good glass is worth its weight in gold. You never ever substitute glass for bodies. I can go through a body, a body once every 4 or 5 years. Whereas I get a good piece of glass, good lens, it'll last me 25.
Yeah.
Mark
just said he loves his 80.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love my 80 too. I love my 80. I think it's the best wide field scope I've ever owned. I mean, and that's not even a wide field scope. It's still 400 millimeters. It's pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't wait. I started doing the what did I start doing on the 127? M16,
mm-hmm.
the Eagle, and just the single shots. I'm loving it. I love it. I think it's great.
Yep.
Oh, George got the 165. You sick little monkey.
That's a lot of scope.
That is a mount. Well, he's got I know what mount he has. He's got the mount to hold it. So I mean, that thing is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's a permanent peer setup there.
Yeah, and he's fine with that. He's good. But
that's a lot of scope.
Let me tell you, I'm ready. I'm ready for like a 152 plus once my EQ8R comes out.
Yeah.
I should have that EQ8R by hopefully Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yeah, with the setup that I've got, I can easily run, either the big 14, or I can put a 152 on the RST 300. It doesn't make any difference. And my next scope will definitely be a refractor.
Troy said it's his grab and go.
Yeah, that's funny.
Grab and what? Go bankrupt?
Yeah. grab and go. If your hernia is on your list.
You ain't kidding. That's like one of those like over the shoulder, that's crazy. That thing is huge.
That scope it's gotta be what? It's gotta be 50 pounds plus. 60 pounds?
I don't think it's that much, because if he's got a carbon fiber.
Oh, it's a carbon. I didn't realize he had the carbon fiber.
I don't know if he has a carbon, but if it's a solid aluminum, that's gonna be heavy, but
that's a lot of scope.
It's 6 foot 10 inches long.
Yeah, you definitely gonna need a pier for that.
Right? Yeah, it's only 27 pounds. So, because I was gonna say the 152 carbon fiber comes in at about 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's a lot of freaking scope, man.
Wow, that's gonna be out of control. I can't wait, George. I can't wait to see some pics, bro. I can't wait.
Let's see, the 165. What is that? That's 1500 millimeter.
It's got to be somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, right? Yeah.
It's got to be somewhere around.
Good God, that's a lot of scope.
Asking pairing for a red cat. I just did this because I just sold a pair. A lady asked me that she wanted to go backwards, and she had an Esprit 100 with a uncooled camera, an EQ6R Pro, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now she's looking at going smaller.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I said, well, what about a red cat with a SkyGuider Pro?
There you go.
And I paired up the 183 MC Pro with that, and it's dead on. Now, that doesn't mean that the 294 and the 533 aren't good matches. I'm not going to say that, because I looked at the 183 first, knowing the specs. But just for giggles.
Yeah, I mean, go onto the tools. Go onto the tool site. Yeah.
I'm going to go on it right now.
Yeah, drop it in there. See what it looks like.
And because I'm already there anyway, so let's take a look and see, and we'll play the game. We'll share screen, and give me a second.
Yeah, this tool is a phenomenally good resource to have.
I love it
when you're doing this. Yeah,
for Gideon.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the
for
best.
Gideon, we were just talking about how to pair up a scope with a camera. And this is astronomy.tools.
Dan is horizontal. That's funny.
Well,
yeah. He's relaxing tonight, folks.
Gideon, you missed the explanation right now. I'm actually in my mother-in-law's house in Washington. So I said, I canceled the show too many times for Islander games. I'm not canceling another one. And so no matter how I did it, you're lucky I still got clothes on and I'm not drunk. So
yeah, this is true. This is very true.
That being said, let's move on to the 533 and the Red Cat. And the Red Cat is made by William Optics. So let's go all the way down to the bottom. William Optics, and it is in. Oh, why is my mouse moving like that?
Yeah, William Optics. Yeah,
my mouse is drunk, not me.
They make an awesome scope.
Oh, they're really good scopes. I mean, William Optics.
Yep, I haven't had a single issue with my Guide
Red Cat.
One.
And then I'll show you the 183 first, because I'll show you what I actually pointed this woman at. There's the 183. And that's with poor seeing. So if I go okay seeing, there's, it's still in the green. So she's good.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Now let's take a look at the 294. Okay. Whoa. 294. Significant undersampling. Significant, which means that your stars are going to be blocks. Now, again, I said this before, you can fix this, but you'll need to be dithering, which means moving the camera every other frame or so to get more samples in different areas of the sky in order to make the stars round through a process called drizzling. And that's something that you're going to have to do with this pairing.
Yeah.
Now, if you're using a Barlow reducer, that may change some stuff, but with Red Cat, most people don't. If you're in poor seeing or better seeing, good seeing is still oversampling, which is a darker sky. Poor seeing, which is like, I don't know, in a rainforest, you're still oversampling. So you're way undersampling on it. So I would not, as somebody that works in a telescope store, I would not try and sell this pairing just for that. And the other one was the 533.
Yep.
533. Okay, still undersampling. A little bit better of a situation than the 294. But still, by far as a pairing in this, without a Barlow, without a reducer, without anything, the 183 is the way to go for this, in my opinion. Now, I'm sure someone else in their other opinions may say something different, but as far as sampling is concerned, this is what I would do.
What's the 533 look like?
The 533 was the same thing. It was yeah, I showed it. You missed it. You weren't paying attention. Pay attention, Scott. Keep up. Keep up, man. Keep up.
He's in the.
There you go. There's a 533 again. So again, significant undersampling.
Yep.
So me personally, I would say, you got smaller pixels with the 183, but your sampling of the object is going to be better. And at that point, I'll stop there.
You're not gonna have eggy stars. You're not gonna have blocky stars. You're not gonna have bloated stars. It's gonna look good. Ooh, excuse me.
Gideon, you are right when you say it is an older chip. Absolutely, it's an older chip, but with that pairing of the Red Cat, you can fix that undersampling, no problem. I'm not saying you can't, and I'm not saying the no amp glow in the 533 isn't an attractive part of the 533. It is, but we've been dealing with amp glow since the dawn of time, and we've been taking darks to combat that for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to, you're still going to have to take darks anyway, because you got to get rid of the inherent noise anyway.
Yeah.
From the electronic and the thermal noise.
Yep.
You're gonna have to get rid of that. That being said, if I'm taking darks anyway, to me, I mean, I could be very under trivial. You know, I might be trivializing this thing, but if I'm gonna have to take darks anyway and/or dark flats to get rid of the electronic noise. What do I give a crap about AmpGlow for? I'm sorry. I know I'm probably saying this wrong, but I mean, I gotta take the calibration frames anyway.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something with that, but that's why I stuck with CCD.
Yeah, the I think one of the major advantages for cameras that don't have AmpGlow, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is when you are doing a lot of EAA. You know, where you're not necessarily going to be able to apply, darks. I guess you could still apply darks in EAA.
Oh yeah, you absolutely could, but it's not as necessary.
Yeah. So, presenting data here.
Oh, look at that! See, the new format works. We tried it and it works. See,
Yep.
You know, I got to be honest with you. I mean, I think that, and listen, you're going to find somebody that's going to say the exact opposite than I am, the same exact or the same opposite as anybody that's on Astroworld. It really is about you and what you are willing to put up with as far as your images are concerned.
Yep.
Me personally, I don't give a whoosy, whatsy, whatever about AmpGlow. I really don't. I've been dealing with AmpGlow for forever. I've had CCD cameras forever. I still think, in my personal opinion, that CCD gives you a better image. Mm-hmm. Sooner or later, CMOS, it's not there yet, but it will overtake the CCD world because CCD chips aren't being made anymore, and whatever the semiconductor shortage is driving everybody through a wahoo. Congrats on the birthday.
That would be me.
Oh, it's your birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Today. Yeah, today.
Oh, yep. Shoot. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you.
Oh, now I got to put my calendar now. I didn't know it was your birthday.
Yeah, I don't typically make a big deal of it, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
So are you old enough to get the senior discount on the coffee at McDonald's yet, or what?
I think my AARP has been a couple of years running now.
Well, we already had the AARP discussion on Wednesday that I received my 50s club that I'm eligible to join now because I turned 50.
Yeah.
So the only good thing that came out of that conversation was that I found out that I'm no longer the oldest in Astroworld. And that's, so Scott took that mantle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that the 183, going back to the thing, the Red Cat question, the 183 is definitely for me the camera to go to for right now with the Red Cat. Now, to Gideon, to your point, I'm not trying to say that the 530 and the 294 won't work. I have a 294 and I love it. It's just with the Red Cat, with the small focal length and the bigger pixels of the 294, it's not going to be. I would have to do a lot more. I'm a lazy guy. I'm so lazy. I'm not as lazy as Jason, but I'm still lazy. Okay, but I think that the 294, you're gonna have to do a lot more post processing to fix the stars, and I'd rather not have to fix them.
Yeah,
that's just me being lazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, his senior card. Yeah, you
gotta
get that dig in there.
Don't worry, and you know what? I did put in for it. And when I get my AARP, I'll put it on the Astroworld site so you can see it. I'll just cross out my member number so you don't see it. I'll take a picture of it.
Uh-huh.
I'll put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we spoke a little bit about astronomy.tools. We spoke a little bit about how to match scopes and cameras.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that is one of the main things. Now, those oversampling or undersampling can be combated with reducers and Barlows if you decide to go that route. To me, if the less glass that I can throw in my image train, the better to me.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, maybe you could because you're the ultimate photographer. Maybe you could talk about the things that you could come across when you start adding stuff into your image train, and the unwanted things that you could get if you start just throwing reducers and Barlows and filters and light pollution filters and all this stuff in your image train. What you could get, what kind of uncool effects that you could get.
Well, you can get all kinds of artifacts, doing stuff like that. The purer you can keep your image train, the better. I'm fastidious. I'm absolutely anal and fastidious when it comes to keeping my lenses and my image train clean. I cap I'll give you an example. I'll show you what I mean. I got this sitting because I'm going to be doing a video.
Scott's the type of person that has like 18 Ziploc bags filled with those little silicone gel packets that everybody throws out when you kind of have them in boxes and stuff, and you're just like, what is this? It says do not eat. He saves all those and throws them in like everything. He throws them in his kitty litter.
Yeah, like this is the image train for the C14, right? So you get the camera, and then my Monster Moag, and but it's capped at the end, right? And I can basically just take that whole thing and put it right in my Pelican case. But everything is capped, and as a photographer, coming up, I learned real quick, about keeping the internals clean. Whenever I change a lens, I always point that camera straight to the ground. I never ever take a lens off, with it pointing out, or up. I always point it straight to the ground, and as a result, I very rarely have to clean the internals of my Nikons. Well, I like the same. I approach the same thing, with taking image trains apart. I try to be very careful, and even in doing that, you're still going to get dust. You're still going to get things coming in. But adding a lot of things to your image train, it means that you're probably going to have to break things down more. And in doing that, you're going to introduce foreign objects. You're going to introduce, artifacts and things that are going to have to be taken out with light frames. There's just no other way around that. But there again, it comes down to discipline, in keeping things clean. I have, cleaning, PEC pads. I mean, if you guys aren't using these, you gotta get, boxes of these.
They're really cheap.
Yeah.
I think you get like 4 packs that what Scott showed you, for like $20. I think they're like $5. And get that, and if you can find it,
the fluid.
The fluid that I found that's really, really, really good is something called Optical Wonder, which is made by Batter Planetarium. Mm-hmm. The alcohol content in that works so well that as you wipe it, it almost evaporates right off
immediately
the lens. Another thing you may want to try is the Zeiss glass cleaning wipes for eyeglasses and optics. Those are awesome. You can get those on Amazon for like 400 wipes for like $20.
Yep. Yeah. Question, Gideon. Do you clean your refractor lenses and or reflector mirrors? Well, I don't. I have not opened up my C14, and I don't plan to unless it's absolutely necessary. But as of right now, it's not necessary. Everything on that scope is sealed, right? Until I actually remove that secondary mirror, and install the Hyperstar. But even doing that, I'm going to be incredibly careful, in doing that, and doing it in an area where there's very little or no dust, to mitigate that. So no, I do not clean my mirrors. I don't have a need to. Lenses, on the other hand, yeah. And do I clean the corrector plate on the sure, the outside of the corrector plate? Sure. Yeah, I do. The fluid that Dan's talking about, I have something very similar to it, and in combination with the PEC pads, it works great. And just very gently, going around in radial motion and cleaning the corrector plate. It works great.
Just a caveat to what Scott's saying. Please, if you don't know what you're doing, I would strongly advise, just like you said, Gideon, I would strongly advise you not doing it. If you don't know what you're doing, you could really screw up your optics.
Yeah.
You don't want to just take a Zeiss wipe and just clean off a corrector of a C14. You don't want to do that. However, I'll tell you this. Even I sent my Esprit 80 right before the warranty expired. I sent that to Skywatcher to get it cleaned by them.
Mm-hmm.
I will not open up a refractor. That's just me. I don't feel comfortable doing it. However, my 18-inch Obsession Dobsonian, I clean, but I only clean it maybe once or twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be very, very careful because you just spent a lot of money on that mirror and you spent a lot of money on that coating.
Mm-hmm.
The more you wash it, and if you don't do it right, you can wipe that coating right off, and now you're short, anywhere from $700 to $1,200 to get it recoated.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Tegan just sent me a note. He said just a couple minutes. Did you send him the login?
I did, but I got to get off in like 5 minutes.
Oh, well, there it is.
Yeah, the dinner's being cooked by the mother-in-law, so I got to eat.
Gotcha.
So I'm kind of unfortunate that he can't come on. Yeah, I did send him the link, but
okay, yeah, no problem.
But, he can come on and say goodbye, or if you want to stay on, you're more than welcome. But I mean, I'll be happy to leave this thing running if you guys want to talk a little bit. But I unfortunately have to eat with the fam.
Yeah, I got you.
Gideon said he'd love to come on Astroworld one day. Good vibes. Absolutely, Gideon. We'd love to have you. Come on down and let's set up a date. Send me an email. Let me know what you got going on. And in all fair, something else I want to throw out to the watchers and the subscribers and all that. If you wish to post anything on the Astroworld website, as far as one of your photos is concerned, send it to me with credits and specs, and I'll put it on the website.
Yep. And
I'm adding a page on the website that not only will have the picture that you send me, but a link to your Astro Bin page to get all the specs and everything that need to be done. So feel free to send whatever pictures that you want. I have a semi-unlimited storage space for pictures. Try not to go crazy with the resolution. Do me a favor. But feel free to upload whatever you want to AstroBin and give me the link. So if you want to share the full resolution, we could all go to AstroBin and check it out and check out all the specs on there. But I'd love to have anybody that wants to come on can come on. It'd be great. I'd love to get that kind of the more people that we have sharing their information, the easier it makes it for other people that are struggling. So that's
Yeah, other side of the world he is. He's in the Netherlands.
that's not a problem, Gideon. Like we have a show tomorrow night for Simon. Simon lives in New Zealand, and the reason why we're doing a Saturday weekend show, and Tegan just popped on. He's gonna be he's gonna be pissed.
Well, he can definitely come in tomorrow night.
There we go. You're on, Tegan.
There he is. Are you muted?
No, can you hear me?
Nope. There you
Yeah.
are. I can hear you.
Yeah. I'm in Washington, and we were just getting ready to close out the show.
Oh, there. Yeah, I figured. I know I got a late start. It's
No, it's all good. It's all good. But if you want to come on Saturday too, tomorrow night we're doing a show for a weekend update with Simon Lewis.
Do that one.
Yeah, I'll let you know. That it's up in the air as far as right now because we're
No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay. I drove 7 hours to get here, and it's a 4.5 hour supposed drive, and I think dinner's on the table in January. What's that?
Pretty toasty up there, I heard.
No, it's actually not bad. It's not bad. It's about 75 degrees right now, but
Oh wow.
But we just had the hurricane blow through, or whatever was left of Elsa.
Oh, DC.
Yeah.
DC. Yeah. Not
Washington State.
Not the West Coast. No.
Oh no. Yeah, no. Washington DC. Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be a hell of a drive, Dan.
Yeah, man, I made it to Portland in 7 hours from Long Island.
Yeah. 295 miles an hour.
Just a quick shot right through the Tesla tunnel, all the way to Washington.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I got my jet rockets going, but we just got a bunch of good comments regarding the format that Scott and I were working on tonight, regarding kind of like it was more like an interview as opposed to just bambling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Talking about initial rig setups and matching cameras to scopes, and we had one guy, Gideon. He had, I think it was Gideon. He had purchased the 2600 one-shot color before he had a scope. So he's got the colored camera, the cool camera, but he didn't have a scope yet. So Dan pushed him over to the telescope tools, and to match up the scope to the camera, choosing the right scope for that camera, and this and that, and so then we just been taking it from there.
Oh, he said wasn't me. Luckily, that camera can pair well with the large range of scopes.
Yeah.
It's a great camera.
Perfect 3.76 micron pixel.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
But
it was Bobby. It was Bobby.
It was Bobby.
It was Bobby. My bad.
Yeah. I went back when I had the 1600, which has the same pixel size, the 3.76 microns. I shot with 360 millimeter focal length refractor all the way up to a 1700 millimeter RC, and it's a great all-around. It's a great all-around camera. Yeah. So this pixel size, that pixel size is awesome.
Yeah,
that right there is the
5 and 6 range, or under the 3 range. That's when you really start getting into problems with the sampling rates.
Yeah.
And
under 0.5, you said?
0.5.
No, what were you saying? Under what?
I said under 3 microns, or over 5 or 6.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're in the 4 range, you could really kind of use that for a multiple number of telescopes.
I'm at 2.3 is my pixel size.
2.3. Well, I'm at 6 right now. So.
Yeah, the QHY.
Yeah.
Yeah. That 2600 is a tough camera to beat. It really is, as far as all around. Mm-hmm. It's a great choice. It's expensive, but it's a great choice.
It's a great choice.
Yeah. So yeah, so it looks like Bobby had, he was gonna, mount, scope, camera. Yeah, so it's tough to find equipment, man. It's really tough right now.
Used market, Astromart, it's buy at your own risk.
Cloudy Nights. Cloudy Nights. Yep.
Cloudy Nights, yeah. The sellers on Astromart that I've experienced have all been awesome to work with, and I bought several used gear from Astromart, and it's
I literally sold for a friend. I sold her 100 Esprit. It was literally online for about 17 minutes.
Oh man. It's a hot market, man. It's hot.
Yeah, and it sold like $200 on the retail.
Yeah.
Nice. It's an APO.
And I just sold an EQ6R for a steal. I think it's a steal, but I sold it for $1,100 plus shipping.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good.
That's a good price.
Yeah. So, but the shipping was crazy. Shipping's gonna be like $250. But
you talk about crazy. My God, go ahead, Keating.
No, that 2000. I was thinking when you said shipping about that guy who sold the CGX to.
It's
like demand is high.
Yeah, the CGXL to ship it with UPS. I mean, I had the 3 counterweights, which is 66 pounds, just the counterweights, and then the CGXL, the tripod and the mount. The whole thing, insured at $4,000. The shipping and insurance, it was $600. It's insane.
Hey, Bobby, I got something for you, Bobby. I got something for you. I just got a hold of it. I didn't put it online yet. I'm going to put it online probably tomorrow or maybe next Thursday. I'll put it on. I just got in, at least as of yesterday. I don't know if it's sold today, but as of yesterday, I acquired a CGX mount, semi-used, $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
I also picked up a 11 Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I want that one.
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, but I'm not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
real inquiries only, please.
You know what, Bobby? Don't even email me. Call the store tomorrow. This thing's gonna go. It's gonna go quick.
Yeah.
Call the store tomorrow. I'm gonna put the phone number right in the thing and talk to Jeff and tell him I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 75, 600, 400, 400, 600.
Yeah, because he's not kidding. It's gonna vanish. It's gonna vanish.
There's a phone number.
Yeah.
Call him tomorrow
mm-hmm.
and see if it's still there. I hope it is. But as of yesterday, it was still there. So go take a look and check it out because it's in almost. I know the woman that owned it. She only used it a handful of times. It's just too big for her, and she wants to get rid of it. So it's almost perfect condition. I mean, take a look at it. Grab it.
Yeah.
If you want pictures about it, let me know because it's in mint condition.
What's the CGX retail? New isn't $24.99.
No,
$24.99. I think.
Oh, the CGX. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the Edge.
No, just the CGX.
Yeah.
I believe, if I remember, I think it's $23.99, $24.99.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah. Yeah, because the XL is 34.
Yeah.
Yep.
CG.
Yeah, that Edge, you're
$23.99 for the CGX, free shipping.
Yeah, you would love the 11, the Edge 11, and it's definitely manageable. As far as weight goes. You can. I mean, one person you can get that up on a mount. If you're a small person, if you're a small or if you're a small woman, you might have a problem. Getting a scope like that up there. But if you're a full grown man, you're not going to have a problem putting that thing on a mount. I hoist that 14 fully loaded up onto a mount by myself. So
this is coming from a guy that wheels his crap on wheelie bars. Don't listen to Scott when he talks about it. Scott is a beast. Scott is a beast. I mean, this thing is big. It's bulky.
Yeah, the 11. I don't know what it weighs. I remember when I
29. I think.
29.
Yeah, I think it's 27, 29.
27, 29, something like that.
My 10-inch Newt is 33 pounds, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
32 pounds.
But it's also a lot longer. Yeah.
Much longer than the SCT would be more manageable. But the thing is, like, my camera wouldn't pair well with a 2800 millimeter. Well, 28 is reduced. What is it? Like 2000 something, right? Like 2000 on the dot or something with a 0.7 reducer.
Yeah.
That's still long. It's still long focal length. I know it's 11 inches, but that's only 1 inch more than my 10-inch aperture, or my 10-inch Newt.
Yeah.
With 1,000.
Beatrice is here. Hey, Beatrice. Beatrice came on. Haven't seen her in a while. She's a long time watcher.
Nice.
I have a screenshot right here.
I want to learn about the reducers. I'm lacking a lot of information out of the field. So you know what? Maybe Friday we talk about reducers. How about that?
Yep.
Reducers, coma correctors, field flatteners.
Yep.
It's not letting me share the screen.
I don't know. Why? Oh wait, hold on. I see you. My bad. There you go.
Yep.
It actually shows up as a different image that I gotta apply. So
that looks tiny, Scott.
Let me.
Yeah, that's taken from about I don't know, a football field away.
Yeah, that's
14 millimeter lens.
Yeah. Here, I got another one right here. Right. I thought I had
that have 6 wheels?
Yeah, 6 wheels.
Oh my
god. Those are 10-inch wheels.
You're disgusting.
Like, my dude.
Yeah, it's a beast. It's monstrous.
I can't get over how small that mount head is. I just can't. Like, that's hilarious.
You can't even see it. You can't
here.
See it.
Here, check this one out. Here, watch. Hold on. I got my lovely wife there. Yeah, it's my bride. Hold on a second.
Now you got your moon, then your sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just my. I got this one here. Let me just pull it over there. I just got this today.
Flowers. What are you showing me, man?
Was that the Needle Galaxy data that I sent you, Scott?
Yeah, that was yours, Tegan. Yep, that was yours. It's one of my desktops. That's the JMI case.
Yeah.
That's the mount.
That's the mount.
That's the mount. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
You see the hand controller over there on the side that gives it scale.
10-inch case.
It's just like stupid. You just cannot believe how amazing that mount is. It's every single piece of that mount is milled out of a block of aluminum.
You have, Scott, next time you have to send me a video or something of that thing slewing, because when we were trying to figure out or I think it was yesterday when we were trying to figure out your homing position and pointing accuracy, all that. I didn't hear it over the phone. I didn't know if so it seems like it'd be pretty quiet. I'd love to see that in action.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. If you go to the Rainbow Astro site and just type in the search engine and go to let me just stop sharing here. And you go to the RST 300. Just type in RST 300, and down at the bottom on that first page, they've got like 6 videos of that whole thing, slewing and moving, and it's a really impressive mount. I
love one.
I'm
guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you guys off. You guys can stay on. I'll leave this on if you guys want to stay on.
Okay.
But I'm getting the evil eye from the wife for dinner.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
So,
don't make the wife mad.
You know what I'll do is I'll turn my camera off, and you guys can stay on as long as you want and chat.
Okay.
And just remember you're live, and then when you just go off, it'll go off. But I'll come back in after dinner and see if you guys are still here.
Okay. Enjoy dinner.
It's Scott, so maybe.
Yeah. You may still be here, so
yeah. We can talk, man.
I have clear skies tonight, so I'll be running here in about 20.
There you go.
Okay, so let me go eat, and maybe I could grab you before you leave.
Okay.
All right, guys, have a good night. And Tegan, if you want, you're more than welcome to come tomorrow. Just let me know.
Absolutely, we'll do, Dan. Thanks.
All right, man. I'll talk to you guys later. Good night, guys.
Later.
Good night.
There we go.
Good guy.
Yes, yeah. Dan is really he is a wonderful individual. The story behind how I met Dan. It was actually when I first started looking at Feather Touch, focusers, and I wanted to do something with the with an onboard computer system, and at that point I'd never heard of the Eagle. And I talked to the guy that runs Camera Concepts, and he said, "Oh, you got to talk to Dan." And that was it. That first phone call, and we just connected, and we've been friends ever since. And the same kind of thing happened with you, Tegan, and I latched into a couple of people at High Point, and they put me on to you, and it was all over but the shouting.
Right. Yeah, was that when you were trying to get your system adapted to have the Feather Touch and the imaging train?
Yeah.
Like a mess.
It was a crazy mess.
I'm glad you went with the Feather Touch for the Edge.
The Crayford, the Crayford focuser, the Feather Touch, and it works great. It really does. But it's been a wild ride, man. It really has. But I know that there were a couple of people that had questions. I didn't want to neglect any of the questions that we had in here. I'd like to learn about the reducers. I'm lacking a lot of information in that field, reducers. Yeah. So the reducer for the Hyperstar, or the reducer.
The Hyperstar with the like an Edge and an 11-inch, or like you have the 14-inch.
Yeah.
That is pretty much essentially, you don't get the diffraction spike, so it's like a 14-inch APO.
Yeah, it's stupid.
The focal length is so short, and you have so much light gathering capacity.
Yeah.
It's an expensive rig, but it's the ultimate fast.
Yeah.
It's such a good system. I would absolutely love a Hyperstar system.
This here is the kit that came with, and this is the Star Arizona, and this is the one that fits for the 14. Mm-hmm. And it is a monster piece of glass on that thing. I mean, it's a gun barrel. I mean, it's like a cannon. But this thing, for the most part, it's exactly what Tegan said. You thread that bad boy onto that second mirror, and you've got the ability to take that scope, the light gathering ability of that scope, which is a 14-inch mirror. It takes
down to f1.9 or f2.
F1.9. It's just stupid.
Yeah, Bobby mentioned, so it drops it down to f2, and so essentially you're replacing the secondary mirror with this lens, and then you attach your camera to the front. And instead of the light coming through, it bounces off the primary and then shoots directly into your camera sensor, rather than hitting the secondary mirror and then going all the way back down into the imaging train past the primary mirror again. So it cuts off a large portion of the light traveling distance, which speeds up the
capacity, the capabilities. Yeah, tremendous. And I mean, the engineering on this thing is really phenomenal. It's got I don't know how well you can see that, but it has these little thumb screws that you can loosen, and if you need to rotate, it allows you to rotate, with it in place, which is just, I mean, it's just sweet.
Oh man, I would love one of those.
You know, the Starizona, these things they're kind of hard to come by now. You know, I think the back order on these is pretty significant. But if you do decide to go with one of these, make sure you get one that has the filter drawer built right into it.
Yeah.
The Starizona filter drawer is really nice. It's built right in.
Yeah, it's if you have a monochrome camera, typically you use a filter wheel. But with something like if you had an Edge HD, like an 8-inch SCT, that filter wheel is going to block too much of that corrector plate and too much of the light coming in.
Yep.
But I've heard that you can, and that's when that filter drawer comes in handy for your LRGB and narrowband filters.
Yep.
But for like an 11-inch or a 14-inch, a small filter wheel shouldn't block
too much
light.
Yeah.
But I would still say that filter drawer, just change the filter out, and it's so simple. Just do it.
It's easy enough to get mounted filters and just buy a couple extras of these.
Yes.
You know, and that way you can just swap them in and out really easy and really fast.
Keep them in like a nice container like you have for your Astrodons.
Yep, exactly. It really, and when I was building that scope, I was initially trying, designing it, and don't get me wrong, I made some pretty significant mistakes, early on. The feather touch, the inline feather touch, that was probably one of the biggest mistakes. But you live and you learn, right? And eventually I'll find somebody that'll give it a good home. Or I may use it in a refractor. I may wind up using it in a refractor, and I don't have to worry about buying another one. But I wanted a scope that I could use both wide field and long, with a deep reach, and that Hyperstar would seem to fit the bill.
Yeah, you have the native focal length of your scope, which you may never use. What is it?
3910.
3910. So
ridiculous.
Almost 4,000 millimeters of focal length.
Stupid.
Unless you have a CCD camera with like 9 micron pixels or something absurd, you're probably who knows? You may do it. You may use it for planetary imaging. But for deep sky imaging, yeah, you may not 27 the 14 millimeter, 4,000.
No. No.
But you can use it reduced at 2737.
Yep. I think that's at 0.7.
0.7, and then you have your Hyperstar, which I think gets you to 650.
This one actually, for the 14, it's 715.
715.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is still really, I mean, it's a lot wider than 2737, but it's still pretty. I mean, it's still pretty tight.
And with like the 8-inch Celestron, the Edge HD, you can use that at the native focal length at 2,000 millimeters, and then you can use it reduced at 13, and then you can use it with the Hyperstar at 420. So you have wide, medium, long, one scope.
Yeah.
Well, you have the lens, which almost costs as much. The Hyperstar almost costs as much as a APO refractor, or it does. So. Yeah.
That the Hyperstar for the 14 is, I think it was $1,200 or $1,300, something like that. Yeah.
That's not far off from like the 8-inch Hyperstar, which I think goes for $800 or $900.
Yep. But so.
That's what Bobby said he was looking at doing with the Edge HD. It's such a versatile scope.
I mean, you can literally set it in the front seat of your car.
I think if I had to choose, I personally would do an 11-inch because you get the added resolution. You can pick up fainter details with an 11-inch aperture over an 8. And I know the focal length at 2,700 for the 11-inch is pretty high.
Yeah.
You could use it. You could.
Yeah.
But at f10, would you?
Yeah. It'd be easier to put a reducer on there and live with the reduction in focal length. For picking up, I mean, because people that don't know the difference between f7 and f10, and my 11 isn't f10, my 11 is f11. I'm sorry, my 14. It's an F11 at native, so it takes it down to F7, and the difference in light gathering capability between 7 and 11 is night and day. I mean, it's tremendous.
How many stops are between 7 and 11?
I right off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I know that it's a few stops of light. I'm sure that somebody will pop it in chat here. It's exactly how many it is, but yeah, it stops it down quite a bit.
Let's see. It goes F7 1, and then F8, F9, F10. Looks like it's about a stop and a half.
Yeah.
So almost 3 times
the light gathering capability. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's and the fact of the matter is that a lot of what you're going to get out there, if you're over 2,000 millimeter, there's a lot of stuff that you're going to be able to capture out there. A lot of stuff, so. And that was when we started this this discussion. It was basically, how do you not only how do you marry the right camera to the right telescope, but what is the telescope that you want to start? I mean, what's your field of view? What do you want to be shooting? Because distant, deep galaxies, that are really faint, you're going to need something with a lot of reach. But if you're just going with nebula, there's a lot of nebula up there that you can get with under 1,000 millimeter easily.
Oh yeah, and that's ultimately, I'm sure you guys probably said this, but like with if you want to image galaxies, you need longer focal length, which means bigger scopes, which means bigger more precise equipment. You can use like a 4-inch refractor to get some galaxy shots for sure and do some cropping, especially if you have a high resolution camera. You can get some decent galaxy shots with a 100 millimeter refractor around 600 millimeter focal length. And so, yeah, I think a 4-inch refractor, that's what I started. I started out with the 8-inch SE from Nexstar, not the Edge, but just the standard.
The black tube?
Yeah, orange tube.
The orange tube.
Orange tube. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was fun. I used it for visual mostly, but then I'm like, you know what? I have to upgrade. So I got a William Optics GT102 triplet, and I imaged galaxies, nebula. It was perfect for starting off. And then I wanted, to go back into that long focal length.
Beatrice.
That's what I image now. I once or twice a year I'll get into some wide field, but I love getting way
in deep. Yeah. No, I hear you. Beatrice was asked, she said she doesn't know much about the Edge, but thinks it might be a great scope. I haven't had any issues with mine.
It's probably one of the most popular, but the best scopes on the market, I would say. You have the several $1,000 refractors, etc. Which don't need to be collimated, and they have gorgeous optics. But reflectors, when we're talking reflectors, the Edge HD series are top notch.
Yeah.
And they usually come out of the box pretty collimated, from what I've heard. And you don't have to touch the secondary or the primary mirror at all because it's fixed. You only have to adjust the secondary, which makes it pretty easy to collimate. I have heard that it depends how picky you are. It really depends how picky you are. But I haven't heard any horror stories about collimating in Edge HD necessarily, unlike an RC or a Newtonian. Experience.
Well, and if you go to as far as collimation for scopes for SCTs and things, if you go to Farpoint Astro, they have a 6-point. It's a I just bought one. It is called. Let me just pull it up here real quick. It is right there. This is called a it's called a tri-Bahtinov mask. All right, and let's see if I can show a picture of it. I don't know if I can show a picture of it. let's see. Here, I don't know if you can see that, but that's what it looks like. Okay, and what that basically does is, in a traditional Bahtinov mask, it'll give you 3 bars that'll create 6 spikes, right? So there's a center, there's one this way, one this way, right? With this one, it gives you double that. So each of the points have a split with a center.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, so you have 6 of those, and each one of those 6 have 3 that pop up. And so what you can do is, with, if you use something like Bob's knobs or something like that for your collimation for your second, all you have to do is determine, just by holding your finger in view, or a pencil or something, to determine where it's out, and you just turn that Bob's knob until that diffraction spike on each one of those 6 lines up, and you do that for each one, and you're right on. You're collimated.
Yeah, that's a super easy way, and that's definitely the way I would go. And then check it with a defocus star, see if it actually is true to what the Bahtinov mask was telling you. And then,
yeah.
But Beatrice asked if it's easier to collimate than a Newt. With my Newtonian, I know, Scott, I've had my Skywatcher Quattro for about 1.5 years. It was completely collimated. We moved from Colorado back to Cincinnati, and the ride over, the collimate, it was shook up a bit, but nothing crazy. I put it on, I was like, okay, I'm happy with it. Oh, this little corner over here is just a little oblong. Let me fix it. So I tried to fix it, and I haven't had my collimation as nice since.
Yeah.
So that being said, an expensive Newtonian, something made like ONTC or Parallax, is going to be easier to collimate than a consumer grade Newtonian, like a Skywatcher Quattro or something from Celestron, or a standard GSO model Newtonian. While they can be easy, again, it depends how finicky you are and how much of a perfectionist you are. I would personally choose to collimate a SCT or an RC over a Newtonian, because the Newtonians are just such fast. Their optics are so fast. At f3.8, collimation's got to be pretty precise. So, but
yeah, that's where a good laser collimator comes in.
But my laser collimator just doesn't work as I want it to, and I have all the collimation tools, but
yeah. And I've had newts in the past, observational, only newts, nothing for astrophotography. It's just for observation, and they can be a little finicky. That big corrector plate that's on the SCT really saves the day in a lot of things.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But Beatrice, I love my Skywatcher Quattro, even though the troubles I've had collimating with it over the past several months. The other night, I actually got it as best collimated as I have during this whole debacle, and I've taken my best photos with the Newtonian. It's a 10-inch Newt. It's the Quattro.
That's a big Newt.
It is tons of light gathering power, and 30 minutes of data will get you a smooth, clean image. I took 3 10-minute subs and of the Butterfly Nebula last week, and I was just amazed. So I'm probably going to add 20, 30 hours to it. But the Bubble Nebula that I collected was, for data that I collected on that, has been my best data set yet, and it was collected with the Newtonian.
Yeah, that's the data that you sent me, right?
I'm not sure. Let me share my. How do you share your screen on here?
It's center icon, right below the pictures.
Yeah, I see it.
Yep. Now that's if Dan actually gave us the ability to do that before he signed off. I don't know.
I don't know if that worked or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it did. No, I can't see it. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if
that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, no, he had to enable that. So
are we allowed to add to the chat over here?
yes, you should be able to chat. Yep. At least I think you can. Yeah. So Beatrice says that I'm busy with the bubble right now. I'm processing older and newer data. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. There you go. Yeah.
I don't know if only you received that.
Yeah, that's a private chat. Let's see. Can we? That's a private chat. Can we go to this? Oh, that's not it.
Maybe you can't.
You should be able to put it up in the YouTube. The YouTube chat.
Oh, because that's live. That's right. That's okay. Let me see if I can. Oh yeah.
Let's see if I can. I can copy that and put it up in the YouTube.
Oh yeah, I just put it in. Okay,
oh,
so yeah,
you?
it's in in chat.
Yeah. Got to run. Thanks so much. Yep. Have a good night, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's been an interesting adventure, to be sure.
Yeah.
And one of the I'm going to be doing another YouTube video here for the people that are in the chat and listening. I'm going to be doing another YouTube series, if you will, on the setup from the picture that I shared of that rig, and taking and setting it all the way up to where you're actually turning it on, and setting it to polar align, and get yourself ready to image for the night. I did this the other day in the park, and that rig, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that the C14 is not a portable scope. I completely disagree. I can get that entire rig into my Jeep, including the wheelie bar.
Yeah, you define portable though.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge. It is a big scope.
14-inch Dob into the back of my Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Would I consider a 14-inch Dob portable? Probably not.
No.
But in cases, if you need it or you have the desire to take it with you, you can. You
can. Yeah, and I mean, it's not going to be as easy as lugging a Red Cat on an EQ 35. I mean, that's it's not the same. But I mean, people that say that it's prohibitive, that you can't do it, I disagree. It is possible, and I was able to literally, from when I pulled into the park and put the Jeep back up on the grass and opened the trunk. Within 20 minutes, I had the scope up and on and ready to polar align. And yeah, so it is possible to do it. And so I'm going to be doing a video or a series of videos on the whole thing. And one of the videos is going to be an in-depth look at the RST 300, because right now on YouTube, there is not a lot on the rainbow mounts.
RST 300. I'm
any of the rainbow mounts, any of them, Yeah, so I want to help to rectify that and to introduce more this absolutely phenomenal product to people. Now, granted, it is an expensive mount. Even their 135s or their 150, I think the 135 is 3,500. I think it is 3,500 for the mount.
What's the payload, Pat?
It is the payload on that is. No, it's I think it's 45 or 50 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about the 135 and the 150 is that you can get the pure extension for the Gitzo. So if you have a Gitzo mountain, or a big Gitzo tripod, that mount will fit right on top of that tripod. And for a small APO, it's ideal. I mean, you can literally get that into overhead in an airplane. It's crazy.
That's portable. That's portable.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. So that is the big selling point with the Rainbow, with the harmonic drives. The other thing with the harmonic drives, if you don't know anything about them, is that they're practically no backlash. They don't require weights up to a certain amount, and it's the meshing of the gears, like with traditional mounts like the CGXL, a CGX, or any of the other mounts. You're using worm gear driven systems where there's only a small amount of the gears that are engaged at any one time. It's less than 5% of the gears are engaged at any one. And with the harmonic drive, it's 30+%. 30% of the gears are engaged at any one time.
Yeah.
So that it's crazy.
With such, and with my CEM 60, I've taken that apart and watched the worm gear and see the internal workings. And yes, you are correct that a very small portion of that worm gear is engaged with the RA. Yep. And there's been time. That was when I took it apart when my a windstorm came through and blew my imaging rig over.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I'm like, if there were the gears were just shredded. It was just like somebody got a knife and just shaved the gears. It was metal filings everywhere. And I'm like, at that point, I remember thinking, I wish there were more gears engaged, because it's probably
Yeah, and that's one of the big problems with worm-driven systems like that, is that you have to maintain them or get them hyper-tuned and keep them maintained. The other thing that's really important is good grease. The one of the big problems with some of these mounts coming out of China is that the manufacturing process, maybe not on all of them, but on a lot of them, they're using really shoddy grease. The grease is not what I would consider to be top notch.
What would you recommend?
That's I would have to research and look. But there are some absolutely phenomenal good greases out there. Some of the really good stuff that they use in bicycle, high-end bicycle gearing stuff is excellent.
I got some. I don't know if it may just be kind of generic, but I don't know. I've regreased a couple. Hey, there he is.
You guys are ridiculous.
Yeah, we're talking about.
Yeah, we're just getting off, Dan. We're gonna see you later.
Yeah. We were saying about the problem with a lot of the mounts coming out of China, that they're the mounts, for one thing, they're not hyper tuned. But one of the big issues is that they're using shoddy grease in the mounts, and it's, in my estimation, it'd be better to take that mount apart or have it professionally hyper tuned and cleaned out and installed with a much higher quality grease, something that allows you, like what you were talking about before, Dan, about that swing test.
Yeah.
And I've seen people with mounts where they literally they don't swing. They'll have the weight bar on there, and they'll let the clutch off, and it'll
like how do you balance it?
Yeah, that's.
I gotta tell you, since I got my Atlas Hypertune from Deep Space Products.
Yep.
I literally drop. I'll do a video of it. I haven't done it, but I literally dropped the weight, and it was like a pendulum.
Yeah.
It was like it was going back and forth and back and forth and I'm like, oh my God, when is this thing gonna stop? And it just shows that the stress on the gears are like it's non-existent.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You want the stress gone, but the accuracy still there.
Yeah.
And that's what I got so far. So I'm happy with it. So
yeah, that's what I love so much about the Sim 60 at a factory. You drop it and it's just swings and swings and swings, and it's still like that to this day after 2.5 years. A couple regreasings and sending it back in to get it tuned, and
there are some great.
It's not an RST 300, but
you RST 300. There's no counterweights.
Yeah, that's a completely different animal altogether. I mean, you're the grease. When you talk about grease, there's I was in the bicycle maintenance and building. I built wheels and I was a big bicycle mechanic in my younger days. And one of the big things that we would always do was to use the highest quality grease we could find. There's a company out there. I don't know if they're still in business, but there's a called Pedro's. And Pedro's grease was coveted in the racing fields and things, and the stuff was amazing. It was really, really good grease. You can't go wrong with good lubricants when it comes to things like the sensitive mechanics of a mount. You want to have the absolute best lubricants that you can have in there, the greases and such. So
what's the best way to rid your gears of lubricant before you apply new lubricant?
Yeah, you see, if you're not mechanically inclined, if you really don't know what you're doing, you can screw it up. I would if you're not comfortable tearing into a mount like that, I would send it to Abbott Hypertune. Spend the $500, get it done. Just make sure that they use the best quality grease that they can. If you are comfortable doing it, then taking it apart and degreasing it, you're going to want to use low solvent quality degreasers, and just clean the parts, brush degreaser, and clean that old grease right out of there, and then just go back in and just and load up the gears with all that fresh new grease. But yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, don't get into it. If you don't know what you're doing, you can screw things up really bad. Just have it done by somebody who knows what they're doing.
I just looked at your bubble nebula. It's nice, man.
Oh yeah, his data is.
We were talking. Beatrice asked if I enjoyed my Newtonian, and that data set is probably the best data set, the cleanest that I've captured with the Newtonian so far. Especially that central region it's nice and sharp.
I think that is the data that you sent me. It looks very similar, but at any rate, it is a beautiful shot. Yeah. But yeah, so how was dinner?
Dinner was good. The chicken was cold, but it was good.
Yeah,
that's your own fault, Dan.
That's all right.
Dad's funny. He says he talks to me more than he talks to his wife. No.
That's really true.
Yeah. So
wow. What else you guys been up to? Anything else, or because?
Yeah, it's getting late. I know that we're going to put that back up there, please. Just set it on there. Thank you. Yeah. We're going to be doing stuff tomorrow. Maybe you just want to hit real quick what's on the agenda for tomorrow, Dan?
So tomorrow, we got we have Simon Lewis, who's coming on with us from New Zealand. He's not on very often, but he's on when he can. He's going to be talking about his new project, his observatory building.
Yep.
And he's going to be talking about that and walking us through some of the process that he has gone through as he built his his nice little, I think it's a sky shed plus his pier and all that. So that should be really, really interesting. And plus the rest of the guys will be on there, all us three and maybe Tegan if he graces us with his presence. If it's not, if it's not too much of that, I don't want to lock him into anything because he's like, it's up in the air right now. That's okay.
Yeah. Family's important.
Yeah, and then we got the the other two or three, Tyler / Eric and Jason.
Yep.
So and then we got the lovely guy behind you.
Yeah. The wild man.
We had Eric's son on Saturday with the shark.
The shark, that was hysterical.
The shark, the shark puppet.
Yeah, he was behind his dad, literally, like 10 feet behind his dad.
All in the background.
Just hiding. All you saw was this little hand come up with the shark puppet on it, and he's just, doing the thing.
Yeah, that goes back to Eric's Dark Shark Nebula video that he put on. So they did a little thing with the puppet, and the puppet just keeps on coming back.
Yeah. It's hysterical. Yeah, the kids that are a part of this channel are they're one of the best parts. They really are. We love Jason's little girl. She's adorable. She closes the show. And she's just adorable. My son's just crazy. He's a nut job. He loves just being a wild man. And
I got dogs, so I don't have kids.
Yeah. The kids are great. Love it. So that sounds like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and that's really it. We'll talk a little bit about Cherry Springs again.
Yep.
And that's probably it. I don't know how long it's going to be. It all depends on how much time we want to talk. So we'll see.
Yep. Yeah, and for people that are interested in doing the camping thing at Cherry Springs, we can certainly talk about doing that too. I know Dan is not into doing that. I, on the other hand, am. I may do the hotel thing, but I am fully set up and ready to go for the tent thing. So
a knife and a flint stick.
Yeah, I'm set up. Let me tell you.
Yeah, but, what, the whole thing, and I did the tent thing once at Cherry Springs.
Mm-hmm.
I will never probably ever do it again until they figure out a way to totally black out. I mean, totally, not those blackout tents that I bought. That's 80%. No.
Yeah.
Total blackout and doesn't get hot in the tent, because at 12 in the afternoon when you're trying to sleep, and you're sweating your whatsy off.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't make for a fun evening of sleep.
Yeah. What, it's 2021. I'm sure they have window units for tents.
Yeah, they got portable AC
units. One. Yeah, I bought a blackout tent, and it also said that it lets the air out, so it like doesn't it's got windows. But here's the thing. It's got windows that go. No, they got mesh on the thing, so the flies don't come in. But it's like, you got a little bit of a flap open, and guess what's going to come in? You're letting out in the sunlight.
Yeah.
That you're trying to block out with the tent. So what's the point?
Yeah.
But
yeah. Yeah. The only way that you're going to do what you're talking about doing is setting up like a 10 by 10, structure, like one of those fold out tents. Yeah, not tent, but the covers.
Cover your tent with that, like that windshield. You put it in
silver
to buy just buy like 30 of those.
It's funny.
I'm gonna be the only astronomer glamper.
It's funny. Yeah. Oh goodness.
Time, Rev. What is Mark talking about? Has he been drinking?
He's been drinking. Obviously, he's been drinking.
Obviously.
Yeah. What are you drinking, Mark? Mark is a regular with us. I've actually spoken to Mark on the phone quite a few times.
Me as well.
Yeah, he's a really neat guy. But he's kind of like me. He likes to talk. So
yeah. I don't know if you got. I'm gonna go back and hang out with the wife and the mother-in-law.
Yep.
I gotta go image.
Yep.
If you guys still want to stay on, if you guys want to stay on, I'll leave it on. But
I think we're done.
All right, cool. All right, so hopefully I'll see everybody tomorrow night. Right. I will be home back in New York in the 5 o'clock area p.m. Eastern.
Are we doing 8 or 9 tomorrow?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay.
And we'll work on it from there. And hopefully Simon remembers. I got to throw him a text tomorrow.
Yeah, he's 12 hours ahead of us.
15.
15 hours ahead of
15.
us. Yeah.
It'll be noontime Sunday when he comes on.
Yeah.
So, but
yep. And in winter.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be cold.
Yeah.
Like 12 degrees Celsius or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a whole different planet.
Yeah.
Telling you. Crazy. But hey, Tegan, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, you too. I'll let you know again about tomorrow. My parents have my boys, and
no, it's fine. No, I kind of sprung it up. I don't even know how many people we could have on at one time, so I don't even know if that's going to work out from a logistic point of view. I'm just throwing it out there.
Cool beans.
I'll be happy to jump off so you can come on. So
definitely next Friday, though. I'd love to be on next Friday.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. And guys, have a good night. Beatrice, everybody else, Mark, keep drinking, Bobby, all the guys that were on there. Thank you for watching us. And as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you tomorrow night for the weekend edition of Astroworld. So have a good night, guys. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
Bye for now.
See you guys.